All right, Travis, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it. Who has the first question? All right, we'll start in the back.
Travis, yesterday we understand that Adolis had a little something to say to you guys at the hitters meeting. Can you share any of that with us? And did he at any point say anything in particular to you before the game?
No, he didn't have to say anything to me in particular. And, just kind of a brief summary. It was pretty much he'd give anything to be out there with us right now, but he just can't go. Obliques in this game are tough. So, to me, that was one of the best things he could have done is address the team and let us know, like, hey, I'm hurting. He's emotional. We're all emotional for him. That makes you want to go out and win it more. Having one of our star players not be in the lineup and not be able to take that field with us when we do something special is it's tough. So he's kind of our little battle cry right now.
Go to Newey on your left, Travis.
Travis, are you surprised they're pitching to Corey Seager, 1? And 2, the fan base is very excited about the possibility of winning the World Series tonight. What do you tell your fans?
Surprised about pitching to Corey? No. We got a pretty deep lineup. You don't want to give away free bases. He is probably the best hitter on the planet right now. That being said, he's not afraid to take his walks. He's not afraid to just get on base and pass the baton to the next guy. So, no, I'm not really surprised. For the fan base, stay excited, stay hungry. We're doing everything we can to win this thing.
Other questions for Travis? We'll go to Newsday's Dave Lennon.
Travis, just yesterday you said you found out you're going to be in the lineup at about 2 hours before the first pitch. Since then, it was kind of a whirlwind for you, I think, between the game that you had, between talking to the media half an hour afterwards, maybe going back and what's that been like since that? Have you had a chance to just kind of relax a little bit since then, or has it been pretty much a adrenaline ride?
I got some good sleep last night. That being said, yeah, that was a different experience for me. I told you guys last night, it's one of those things that I reflect upon in a couple weeks. Once this job's done, once this series is over, I'm sure it'll sink in, the emotions will hit, but right now it's just all business.
Go to Disha in the third row.
Hey, Travis, was there a specific moment or a game in the season where you thought that this could be where this team would be today on the brink of winning the World Series?
I think spring training, you go in that clubhouse, and me being, the new guy in the clubhouse coming into a group of guys, it's one of those things that took me about 12 hours to figure out that this was going to be a special team. Everyone going out of their way, regardless of status, regardless of stardom on this team, making me feel comfortable. That right there was when I knew that we had a special group, and the talent speaks for itself. You have all the talent in the world, but if your team doesn't mesh, if you don't have great guys in the clubhouse that want to win for each other, stuff doesn't happen. So, yeah, I knew the roster coming in. I knew that we had a good roster. I didn't really know anyone on a personal level, but like I said, it didn't take too long for me to realize that we had a special group in there.
Go to Levi in the fourth row.
So was there anybody in particular, when you say it took about 12 hours to figure out it was a roster full of special dudes, was there any particular conversations that you had that kind of were that moment for you where you, oh, okay, all right?
Yeah, it's hard to pick one out in particular. I think it was just a whirlwind of, there were about 25 to 40 guys in that clubhouse who went out of their way to just make me feel welcome, show me around the complex. When you're the new guy, it can be tough, right? You don't know where you're going most of the time. You're trying to figure out, personalities, who you can joke around with, who you can, talk with. These guys made it really easy on me, and the success that we all had this year that I had on a personal level, I attribute to that and the team and making me feel welcomed and comfortable here.
Who else? I'll go back to Dave.
What do you think it was about the team as a whole, Travis? I mean, you guys were so good at overcoming a lot of the big injuries that you had. I mean, you lost some pretty big members of the rotation. You had Seager out for a while. I mean, what is it about a team that's able to do that? I mean, you do get the depth, try to get the depth players in there, but it doesn't always work the way it did for you guys.
Yeah, I think you look at the lineup construction, you look at what the front office did to build a championship caliber team, and you have to rely on your bench pieces, right? We haven't had the healthiest of seasons. I don't think there's any team out there that has a 100% healthy season where nobody gets hurt. They did a great job of getting role players who understand their role and, trust that when their time comes, they will step up and they will, come in clutch in a big moment. When Siegs went down early in the year, Zeke came off the bench, made a name for himself. Josh Smith did the same thing. You look at those players, you look at our bench, there's a few teams out there that we could probably have, 4 bench guys starting on different teams. Guys tend to care about winning more than, their individual statistics, as a bench player on this team. And I think that's a huge element in this game, is check your ego at the door as a bench player every day. We got a good lineup. Just because you're on the bench doesn't mean you're not one of the best in this game. It's just you're not one of the best in this lineup today. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Other questions for Travis? All right. Best of luck tonight, Travis. Thanks for your time. Appreciate
Thank you,
it. All right. We'll get started with Bruce, who has the first question. We'll start with Bill towards the back.
Bruce, having been fortunate enough to be in this position 3 previous times, do you do anything different on the day you could clinch a World Series?
I don't. I don't. I don't get caught in where we're at. And I'm being honest. We're just focused on the game tonight. The guys have done a great job of that all year. They're doing the same thing in the postseason. We've got to focus on the task ahead of it. So that's where I'm at.
Other questions? We'll go to Bob on your left.
Yeah, Bruce, this season, do you think you've had much more adversity than any of the 3 teams you had that won the World Series in San Francisco?
I'm sorry, the first part, I'm sorry
You
about
think
it.
you had a lot more adversity this season in the 3 years you had?
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. Started out, Tavares went on the IL, then DeGrom, but I could go, down the list. I think 5 of the All-Stars, we were missing for a while. Corey for quite a length of time. So, Eovaldi, he went down. So, I will say I think we had to deal with more this year than any year I've ever had to manage, and that's what makes me proud of these guys too. How they never focused on that as much as let's focus forward, and they kept doing that.
Questions? We'll go to Ron up front.
What did you learn about Corey from being in the clubhouse with them this year that you didn't realize about him managing from across the field?
Well, I always knew what a tremendous player he is, what a big bat he is, but he's just a solid person that plays the game right, and that's playing to win. That's the only thing on his mind, doing whatever it takes to win that ball game, including everybody. He wants everybody to play the same way too, and he'll say something if that's not the case. So I just realized, what a great pro he is, and a teammate. Corey has his routine like everybody, but he cares about winning.
Is he ever within the clubhouse more exuberant or show more outward emotion than he does on the field?
Oh, yeah, he does in the clubhouse. Oh, he's funny. He's got a good sense of humor. He's loose. That's fun. He plays cards with the guys. He does all the things that normal teammates do.
6 rows back in the middle, Robert.
Bruce, you had to maybe unexpectedly use Jose last night. How does that affect your calculus in whether or not you use him tonight?
He's available. Yeah, he's available. Yeah, I would have preferred not to use him, but he's good. He faced a couple of hitters once we got him up. Then he had to get hot, with what was going on. Then I went and got him, put him in there. But no, he's good to go. It's not going to affect how I use him. If it's a safe situation, the 9th, he'll be there.
Your team defensively is among the league leaders in various metrics. Aside from talent, what makes a good defensive player?
I think as much as anything, just focus, man. It's the concentration. A lot of times, position players, we get caught into our hitting. It can affect, how you play the game. And these guys separate the offense from the defense so well. Now, I do have to talk about the coaching staff, what a great job they do. They put them through their work every day, pregame, the infielders, outfielders. But it's something that was talked about, how important the fundamentals are. And that's one thing I've said has to remain in this game. You can talk about how it's changed, analytics and all these things, but you got to catch the ball in our game. That needs to show up every day. Because I said earlier, a couple of days ago here, hitting, pitching, that's not going to be there every day. But the defense can, and that's only because you have that mindset that, hey, I'm going to help out the pitcher, or I'm going to focus on catching the ball here.
I'll go up front with Stefan here.
Boch, Marcus's 3 plate appearances from tying the all-time record for most in an entire season, regular and post. Can you talk about the rock he's been at leadoff and how he sort of stayed in the process and broke through last night?
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, really. You think about it. That's a big number. He is a rock. For me, it's never been a thought who's leading off, who's playing second base, and so that's a luxury to have. But for him to be able to, to go out there every day and mentally, get through the grind, physically get through the grind. I'm sure there's days he hasn't felt great, but he's just such a tough guy mentally. It's been impressive how not only the fact he wants to go out there, but how he prepares every day. He doesn't let up on his routine, his ground balls, everything. He doesn't say, well, I'm a little tired, I'm going to play, but I'm not going to do this. That's not him.
I go to Barry and then Dave. Barry first.
Boch, when exactly after you left the Giants and obviously you needed a respite for a while, when exactly did you decide that you wanted to come back managing and started looking around for openings? And when you did and picked this, are you surprised that you're back here on the precipice of winning the World Series again so quickly?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, gradually, after I retired, I started missing the game. I said this in 2020, that was a COVID year. I didn't miss that. And I said my timing was pretty good, to be honest. But I go back to helping the French trying to qualify for the WBC. I just did it for fun, but also to try to help them qualify. And I was in Regensburg, Germany, in the dugout last year, October. And I said, man, I really miss this. But I never called anybody. I just said, this is something that I love to do, and I miss it. And then when CY called me to get my appetite on doing this, we talked, and long story short, I'm here. But that's kind of where it started. Yeah, so anyway, did I think I'd be sitting here in the World Series the next year? I mean, I knew that this organization was on the rise, that I was getting in the right situation. They wanted, to get winning baseball back to Texas. But, to imagine I'd be sitting here, no, I know how blessed I am.
Did the Padres query you at some point?
No, I didn't. I wasn't. No, I was good where I was.
Go to Dave in the third row on your right.
Bruce, I think when we talked about your decision to use Jankowski yesterday, we talked a lot about his defense. And then it turns out in that game he winds up getting a pair of 2-out hits to keep rallies going, one with the bases loaded. Is that just kind of emblematic of what you guys have relied on this year as a whole, just different people kind of in big spots?
Right, no, I agree. He's been solid for us, with the injuries that we've had to deal with. He's just done a tremendous job. Came on as one of our bench guys, extra outfielders, end up playing a lot. He was a starter there for a while and just did a great job. He gives you defense, speed. He gives you good at-bats up there. He's got good discipline at the plate, and just a solid sign for us. And we might have got a little break when Tavares went on the IL, to be honest, at the beginning of the year, because we might have lost him. But, we needed him at that time, put him on the roster, and long story short, here he is playing.
Anything else for Boch? Am I missing anybody? All right, Boch. Thank you so much.